If you want to understand the modern world, don't look at the grand inventions. Look at the small ones. The objects we overlook. The things so common they almost disappear. Styrofoam is one of these objects, a material that slips into our daily lives with such ease and familiarity that we barely notice it. It holds our leftovers, protects our packages, props up our appliances, floats our docks, and fills our coolers. It is everywhere, and yet most of us never think about where it came from, what it's made of, or what becomes of it once we throw it away. Its story begins not in a kitchen or a fast food restaurant, but deep inside the laboratories of World War II. A world of shortages, improvisation, and relentless experimentation. Scientists worked not for convenience, but for survival. Rubber was scarce, supply lines were strained. Every scrap of metal mattered. In that pressure cooker of wartime necessity, a Dow chemical researcher named Ray McIntyre made an unexpected discovery. A lightweight, buoyant foam created by mixing styrene with isobutylene. It was never meant to change the world. It was simply meant to solve a problem. But like so many wartime innovations, radar, duct tape, nylon, plastics, its impact stretched far beyond the battlefield. After the war, the nation embraced Styrofoam the way it embraced suburbia. It became part of the architecture of convenience. It insulated the walls of the new American home. It lined coolers carried to baseball games and picnics. It shaped coffee cups, TV dinner trays, packing peanuts, and entire sections of the supermarket. And when America reached for the stars, Styrofoam went too. NASA scientists used polystyrene microspheres to model cosmic dust, simulate lunar conditions, and test material behavior in zero gravity. A material discovered by accident suddenly became part of humanity's most intentional journey. By 1942, the United States was fully at war. Every resource was rationed, every factory converted to military use. McIntyre's discovery quickly became vital to survival.
Look at this. Styrofoam replaced cork and K-Pock in life vests. Same buoyancy, but it doesn't rot or sink.
Literally a mistake that kept sailors afloat.
From Normandy to the Pacific, polystyrene became the quiet ally of the Allied victory. The war had ended, but America's appetite for innovation had only begun. From the battlefields to the breakfast table, science promised a brighter, easier tomorrow.
This was space-age living for the everyday person.
No dishes, no leaks, no problem. Why clean up when you can throw it away?
By the end of the 1960s, America was wrapped in foam, each year producing millions of pounds of disposable packaging. What began as a marvel of modern chemistry revealed its hidden cost. By the 1970s, scientists asked, what happens to Styrofoam when we throw it away?
You can see it everywhere, these tiny bits breaking down but never disappearing.
You can crush it, burn it, drown it. It always comes back. It's basically immortal.
The qualities that made it perfect for wartime use now made it a threat to the environment. Recycling was supposed to redeem our throwaway culture, but for polystyrene, that promise rarely materialized.
This is where convenience hits the wall. You can recycle aluminum 1,000 times, but styrofoam, not so much.
Even when you try to do the right thing, the math just doesn't add up.
In this demonstration, acetone, or nail polish remover, is poured over a polystyrene foam head. It appears to melt, but what is actually happening is air is being released. You see, polystyrene foam is made of 95% air, so it's releasing that air and returning the polystyrene back to its gooey form.
Whoa, that's incredible! What looked like a huge block just disappeared in seconds.
That goo can be used as glue, or allow the acetone to evaporate, and it can be rehardened. Now for our next demonstration. This time we're using xylene to break down that polystyrene foam. But in this case, it breaks that polystyrene foam completely down to a solution. That solution can actually be brushed on to surfaces to create a waterproof barrier. And in this example, we can see that a coloring is added so you can see it brushed on, and then brushed on to wood, and then water applied to show that waterproof barrier.
And now this board's waterproof. DIY recycling, one coffee cup at a time.
From laboratories of war to the kitchens of suburbia, from the moon landings to the ocean floor, polystyrene's story follows our own. Invention, shadowed by consequence.
McIntyre didn't set out to change the planet. He just wanted to win a war.
Every generation inherits the side effects of the last one's progress. Ours just happens to float.
Progress is not a straight line. It's a cycle.
When we started this project, we thought we were tracing the history of a material. Turns out, we were tracing the history of ourselves.
Maybe the real invention isn't a new material. Maybe it's a new mindset.
From oceans of waste to experiments of renewal, the story of polystyrene reminds us that innovation must be balanced with responsibility. Styrofoam began as a wartime solution, a material born from urgency, chemistry, and the relentless pressure of global conflict. It drifted from laboratories to life rafts, from military necessity to the quiet routines of American suburbia. It promised a future of ease, efficiency, and abundance. But convenience has its architecture and its cost. The qualities that once made Styrofoam so useful, lightness, durability, resilience, have made it nearly impossible to escape. It lingers long after the meal is finished, the package opened, the product consumed. It accumulates across oceans, in landfills and shorelines, and in places no one ever intended it to go. Now, decades later, we find ourselves asking a different set of questions. Not about how Styrofoam can serve us, but how we must respond to what is become. Cities pass bans. Scientists search for alternatives. Activists push for change. And ordinary people, in their daily decisions, help determine what comes next. The story of Styrofoam isn't just a story of plastic. It is a story of innovation and oversight, of progress and consequence, of how the smallest objects in our lives can leave
the largest marks on our world. As we look ahead, the question is no longer how Styrofoam was made, but how we choose to move forward. Whether we continue the cycle of disposability or design a future where our materials and our choices last longer than the waste we leave behind. The future is not yet written, but we hold the pen.
Whatever you want, you're so very special. Yeah, I wish I was special.